Hello there guys, it's Joey. So I thought we'd do something fun and positive and upbeat, which is going to be the top witchy list of 2016. It's not going to be a top 10 or anything because I was originally going to do it as a top 10 witchy moments, and then I was like, but there's more than and I don't really want to do just moments, and I want to incorporate this, and so yeah. So basically I sat there and talked myself into doing a video about the top witchy moments, the top witchy things, the top witchy parts of life of 2016, and we've got some bits and then some things to talk about and some things we can show and tell at the same time, and yeah. And I decided to do this because 2016 on the whole has been a really screwed up year for a lot of us. There's been a lot of death, there's been a lot of death of really famous artists, really unique artists, and there's been a lot of divorce, there's been a lot of debts and losing homes and all sorts of things which have been troubling and difficult in this year. So I thought what we would do initially is do like this positive focus on some good things that happened in 2016. And I have a list in my new booklet, which Sterling sent and is gorgeous, which I may have just smacked with my lip gloss. There we go. Oh, and before I just launch into this, usually I do a Christmas, Xmas, whatever you want to call it, haul, and I can feel people going, where is it? You've done it every year for 4 or 5 years or whatever it is now. Well, this year I got mostly makeup, and it's not hugely interesting to the witchy community in general. The pictures are on Instagram if you want to see, but I've got a couple of bits here that I did get that I'm just gonna show because they are kind of witchy. I got 3 almanacs, I guess you could say. I got the Witch Spell a Day Even Almanac. And the first thing I do with this immediately is go to my birthday. Anyone else do that? I know this, and this year it's Neroli for the incense, which is one of my favourites, and it's all about giving thanks. So there you go. I was a bit like, and colour of the day is grey, and I quite like grey. I think grey is kind of awesome. So let's just get you in here a bit, camera. So yeah, so I got the Witch's Spell a Day. I enjoy having this. I don't follow it religiously or anything like that. I just enjoy having it so I can have a look, and you know, it's just a sort of traditional thing to have each year, I think, more than anything. And this is really good last year, so I got it this year. This is the 2017 Herbal Almanac for growing and gathering herbs, cooking and crafting, health and beauty, history, myth and lore. And it's got some really interesting things in it this year. I think the Japanese paper streamers, The Mythical Origins of Sakiki and Tamaguchi by Linda Radish sounds really interesting. A Garden to Die For, as in D-Y-E, so dying with herbs, that sounds really interesting as well. There's a few different things in here which I think sound really good. I haven't actually read it yet. I haven't really stopped since the 25th. And lastly, I've not had this one before, but I thought we'd try the Magical Almanac this year, so I actually got 3 almanacs for Christmas. So it was mostly, though, pop vinyl figures. I got 8 pop vinyl figures. My sister got me a gorgeous Rogan Wolf necklace and makeup, but I did get, look, this is a Momiji. It's a unicorn Momiji, so we've called it Molly after Molly from Her Speak. Called her Molly, I should say. I've called her Molly in honour of the Queen Unicorn Molly from Her Speak, so this is amazing. So there you go, she was limited edition, so I'm super pleased. Right, so we're going to get into the top witchy things, the witchy list, the goodness of 2016. And what I decided to start with was music. What I considered to be my favourite musical discoveries, or I guess discoveries is fair, of 2016, and I couldn't choose between 3, so I have 3. choices. Literally couldn't choose between three. I was like, no, I'm not choosing between them because they're each very unique. They came to me at different points in the year and they're amazing. So the first one is Walking on Cars, Everything This Way. Right, I will tell you what the three are and then we'll talk about why it's a witch thing afterwards. I realise I've just launched into it without talking about it. So this came out in January. Walking on Cars is an Irish band and the lead singer is one of the most beautiful men in the entire world, and his voice is one of the most beautiful voices in the entire world, and every song on here is soulful. It's soul music. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Love Backs Down, Speeding Cars, Catch Me If You Can. I love this album. It's so good. So good. And then Banks, The Altar. So The Altar kind of has a pagan-y feel. I can't stop singing this. I love it, I adore it. I was really quite disappointed with Tove Lo's album because it came after this, and I think basically Banks just blew everyone else out of the water. And then last of this year, which I've been going on about recently, is Dorothy, Rock Is Dead. And I love this. Whiskey Fever, After Midnight, Missile, Raise Hell, Dark Nights. Every song on here is pretty amazing, and it's bringing back rock music like I haven't heard for a long time. And her voice and Banks's voice, they're so unique, they're so amazing. So why did I decide to go with music, and why isn't it necessarily pagan themed music? I consider I consider music to be magic. I consider it to be alchemy. I consider it to be the infusion of the self. It changes your mood, your vibration, your emotional state. It can uplift, it can make you angry, it can make you sad. It has a kind of almost like a touch memory, but obviously it's not a touch memory. Touch memory is when you like touch something and it like triggers memories in your head, or touch memory as well is sort of you remember to do something just from kind of a physical touch perspective. Well, I think music brings that from a soul perspective. It kind of talks to your soul even if you don't fully understand why it's doing it. And music of any kind can do this. And so these three are all albums, because I didn't want to choose single songs, otherwise we would be here forever. We're fortunate that Curly hasn't released her album yet, otherwise there would have been 4. That really affect my mood and my soul and my energy and have uplifted me, and I've had them on repeat and I don't get bored of it. It just, it's a good meditational aid in some ways. You don't have to meditate to just, you know, I had bagpipes go through my head. Do not meditate. Well, maybe you can meditate to bagpipes. I couldn't. I meant panpipes. But it doesn't have to be panpipes and strings and traditional meditational music. If you can zone out, if you can uplift, if you can creatively visualize to any kind of music, then it's a spiritual experience. And I think that kind of gets overlooked sometimes about how magical singing and music and playing music, if you can play music or singing, is. I think it's a bond that is deeply sacred. So there we go. So my top witchy purchase from someone else this year, I think we all know what it is. If you don't know what it is, I don't know where you've been. This is the most beautiful thing of 2016. Right, anyway, so this is my wolf drum from Laura Dallaghan, and not only is it the most beautiful thing in the entire world, it's an incredibly spiritual witch-based item. I use it a lot. I use it for ritual and elevating my mood and meditation. I use it for nearly all beginning spiritual practice. If I need to shift myself, like shift my energy, shift my state of mind, shift my mood even, then this can do it every time. And she's just perfect. She's just perfect, aren't you? Yes, yes, yes. I love her so much. It combines everything as well. It combines my love of wolf magic and totem magic with the twilight hours, not the vampires, the dusk, and that's my power time, my energy time, and it just combines all of that, and it has our stars on it for the starry-eyed side. I just love it. I love it so much. Okay, and then we have some top witchy moments from 2016. So I sort of did an online one here and then kind of like an in-life one. So some of the top witchy moments have been actually meeting with, interviewing with, and sort of discussing different ideas with key individuals that I have gotten to know a little bit or a lot through YouTube and online. So I've written down the interviews with Miss Joanna DeVoe, Miss Ember Honeyraven, C.R. Bear, Silver Moon and Laura Daligan, and Miss Arwen. And I've written those down. I'm always very hesitant at this point, I'm going to say, to like read out names of people that I've gotten to know online or in real life actually, because there are a lot of individuals that mean a great deal to me, and by the process of me being my brain being like I'll always forget someone, and afterwards I'll sit and I'll think, oh god, this I forgot. And oh, they're going to be offended, and oh no, and Virgo brain, right? and I have to kind of sit there and decide whether or not to upload it or not. So if I have not mentioned you by name, just it's this, it's not this. But these interviews, these moments, these discussing these elements with these ladies and gentlemen from YouTube, and they're also inspirational and in their own ways have helped me to remain positive in 2016 and have helped highlight and brought good things to the fore in 2016 for me. And we'll go through the people I mentioned. So Miss Joanna DeVoe is always upbeat, always positive. She works super hard. She's always, you know, contributing, I think is what I'm looking for. She's always contributing to the community. I actually won her Rich Witch ebook this year, which was an incredible thing for me. I never win anything, so I was like, oh! I was like super excited. That was awesome. And having an interview with her, I was nervous. I'm always nervous before interviews, which people may or may not know about me, because I'm always like, please don't make a fool of myself, please, please. I do regularly, but you know, clumsy as in all senses. But it was wonderful. It was really lovely, and technology worked, which is always a plus. And I think, you know, Miss Joanna is just so sunshine, you know. And it's not to say she wouldn't have difficult days and doesn't find things difficult, because I don't believe in anybody being permanently positive all the time. It's not realistic, is it? But she is super positive and she contributes so much, so much. So then we have Miss Ember, who is a powerhouse. Everyone knows who Ember is, and this year has been a hell of a year for Miss Ember. She's gone through personal transformation of the Phoenix variety, completely life-altering, and has remained on top of it, and a survivor and a fellow daughter of the Morrigan, and she's inspirational, and I love her to bits. So there we go. And then we have Mr. C.R. Bear, who is relatively new to my life. His aesthetic output, his aesthetic view on the world is phenomenal. Now, I am a visual individual. It has to look nice. if it if it doesn't look nice, I don't find it aesthetically pleasing, then I don't find it as magical, if you like. That's why I am the way I am with my store. Everything has to look good, and I kind of feel apologetic when things don't look as good as I would want them to, but they're potent. And Mr. C. R. Bear has this way with words and visuals, and is all incredibly aesthetically vibing. Do you know what I mean? It kind of just nails it. It kind of nails it. And then I had an interview, a joint conversation with Eric Silvermoon and Laura Daligan, both of whom I adore. Eric's been quiet for the most of this year, bless him, but he has an incredible talent, and every time he shows some of his artwork, it's like, oh, it's beautiful. And I loved his presentation of Babe, and he sort of dared to risk, if you like, by presenting her in a maiden aspect, a youthful aspect, which some people are really arsy about, but that's how I visualise her too, like passing between. She's not static, she doesn't stay in one or the other, but I kind of see her passing between crone and maiden. Really awesome to see him sort of standing up for that. That was brilliant. And Laura is just, you know, a red fairy of gorgeousness. She's just amazing. She works non-stop, she contributes non-stop, she's incredibly talented, and I love her to bits, so I don't think I need to go on. It's like lady crush. And then Miss Arwen of Tarot by Arwen, who is always positive. She brought the Joy Quest in for this year, which has been hugely beneficial, and I share regularly her Facebook posts, her tarot, what would you call them? Journal prompts. And I think quite frequently they kind of vibe with me. Like, I'm like, oh, that is so spot on to where I am right now, and that's just come at the right time, and oh, that was really helpful, although that was really positive and reinforcing and helpful again. So there we go. There are, of course, other individuals on the YouTubes of you that always inspire, and I'm gonna just mention Kellyanne Maddox finally, just because she has always inspired me. She is articulate and intelligent, and digs deep into the soul of things, and she's very real with it too, and she continuously inspires. There are a lot more people. There are people who I have met this year who mean a great deal to me. Miss Alvine, Miss Jessica Silver. Oh goodness, everyone in the goth tribe, they'll know what I mean. Miss Mora. There have been, oh god, I've got a list going through my head going. Natalie, you know, there have been a lot of people this year who have come into my life who I'm hugely, hugely grateful for, and I can't say how much that means to me, because it's been a tumultuous year. It's been kind of people in and people out, and so all of the new connections, the deepening of connections that already exist there, meant a great deal to me this year. So let us, oh, and in real life, the witchy moment was meeting up with Miss Fran, who is my dear friend, and it was really awesome because I was a little bit frightened. I won't lie, because meeting up with people in real life is always a bit terrifying. It might just be me. It's like, what if we really don't get on, or blah blah, and it was fine. It was absolutely fine, and you know, we still talk more or less every day, not so much at the minute because it's the holidays and things go crazy, but it was lovely, and I was a bit sick at the time, well, a lot sick at the time. I was recovering from one of the major events of 2016, which was not positive, which was me nearly dying in hospital. and I was kind of like sick because I was still recovering as well, but it was still a really awesome experience, and it was really, really fun. So, you know, forever remember having English breakfast in where she lives. It was cool. Okay, and then my own store product of the year. God, I was like, which one do I pick? I really freaking love the Crow Priestess spell oil. I really freaking love the Witching Hour spell oil, that, and the Lust of Morrigan spell oil. But the one that I actually decided on was actually a smudge, and I've forgotten it. It's it's downstairs. So if I do this, hopefully I'll remember to like superimpose an image here. If not, it's me doing this and everyone's like, what? So it is the Dark Queen smudge. So it's kind of a Morrigan-esque smudge, although it more works with the archetype of the Dark Queen. Going forward into 2017, there are going to be more items along that brand because I freaking adore it. It's my favourite smudge. I love making it. It always uplifts me. I'm going to read you the blurb because I can. Oh, I suppose I could show you the picture on here, couldn't I? Da, 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 Dark Queen, go. No, not Dark Ween. Oh, iPad. This iPad is like, it has its own sadistic sense of humour. It's evil. It changes words all the time into like nonsense. Right. Come on then. Load for me. I know, you're not going to work now because I called you sadistic. You are an evil son of a... Just work anyway. Okay. So there's... Ooh, there is Dark Queen. I might still superimpose a picture anyway. So it represents the energy of Dark Goddess embodied on the earthly plane as a powerful energy of personal sovereignty. The Dark Queen is unapologetic for her sovereignty, her needs, her desires. She is the fertile earth that embodies the Celtic mythology, that land is tied to the worthiness of the king or queen that rules over it. Honourable and powerful as the Dark Queen is, her land and self are abundant and boundless. The Dark Queen manifests her dreams unchained and unchallenged by petty opinions or judgments. She weaves her path on the night sky, calling forth destiny and magic by the blood in her very veins. Create your own temple of limitless possibility and potential in order to manifest your dreams and achieve mastery over the self. Know that you are bewitching, enticing and confident. Take a surety in yourself, claiming your personal sovereignty with Dark Queen energy. Take control of your own power, sensuality and sexuality, and be firm in your command, sense of self, and seek to manifest your limitless potential. So I really freaking love Dark Queen. A lot of people prefer Templar Witches, which is cool. It's a gorgeous one. But for me, Dark Queen kind of has this enrichment, this empowerment, this be who you are born to be, you badass bitch, you know, that kind of oomph, and I kind of love it. I kind of love its naughtiness. So that's the favourite thing for me that I made this year with my witchiness. Oh bum. The next one is my favourite witchy book of the year, which is Under the Witching Tree, and I don't know where I put it. I bet it's over there in that pile. Okay, I did a video very, very recently about Under the Witching Tree, so we don't need to recap it. Go check out the video. Eep. A personal moment for me, which was a really good witchy personal moment, was the launch of the blog. And the blog is now up and running, and essays have come out fairly regularly, and pagan poetry comes up fairly regularly, and it's good for me to be able to have a space to express myself in written form, which I really enjoy doing. I love it, and I really, really am proud of it. I really feel like it is an extension of everything that I wanted to do this year: expansion, creation, creativity, personal definition by the parts of me and the expression of me that makes me me. Me too. That's a Matrix reference. There you go. Enjoy. But it's not just because everybody else is doing it. And I was hesitant with the blog for a very long time because I just didn't want to have a blog just because everybody else and their mother was doing it. And in the end I decided that it had to be just a place of pure creativity for me, and that's what it has been, and I love it. So there we go. So then we're going to move on to top witchy herb of the year, and I ended up, excuse me, I ended up picking two. It's my iPad rebelling because I was calling it names. It's gone flying across the room. Woo! So I picked two. I picked myrrh as a resin. Myrrh is associated with the moon, feminine water, increases the power of any incense, healing. The smoke is used to consecrate, purify and bless items and objects such as talismans, amulets, charms and magical tools, aids meditation and contemplation, guards against evil, brings peace, assists in understanding personal sorrow, understand the nature of being spiritually aware. There are a few herbs so useful when working through personal sorrow and tragedy. Comfort to those who have lost a loved one, those who have troubled hearts that need strengthening and healing, and those who help needing the understanding of death and grieving. So in terms of 2016, it's been non-stop in use. And then the herb is bindweed. So I had to move home, and where I was there wasn't any, and where I am there is a whole load. So I have some vine and I don't know how well you can see that, a leaf that I dried out myself, and then some root, which is, are you all that yeah, it's all the root that I got for myself now. So I did get gifted some earlier in the year, but this is the stuff that I've gone and got. That's a bit more viney than, there's a bit of root. There's a bit of bindweed root. Bindweed is a pest herb, and some people don't like it. It's part of the hedgerow across, mostly grows on the eastern half of North America, all across Europe. Belongs to Saturn. Is a plant of dawn and dusk and thickets and hedges, separating civilization from the wildwood. Hedge bindweed's magic lies in the places of the in-betweens, the threshold and doorways opening to the other world. Is a good ally for hedge crossers and spirit workers. Its persistent vines create a connection or bridge to both worlds one is travelling between, giving the safety of a return route. Its flowers are too delicate to use. I disagree. I think you can get them. But the tangle vines can be put to work in binding spells for people, objects or spirits. The roots are used in folk magic, and hedge bindweed was one of Native American conjurer roots. Used as a substitute for High John the Conqueror root, and has the same magical properties of good luck, success, confidence in self, strength and commanding power. That's from Sarah Ann Lawless's blog. So bindweed is one of those overlooked plants and herbs, and it's really, really potent. You can use it for all sorts of things. I really love that it's a hedge crossing. I love that it belongs to dusk, which you've already mentioned is my favourite power time of day. It belongs to the hedgerows, the in-between spaces. It's really good for breaking magic, because nothing stands in the way of bindweed and ivy together. Like, you're not going to overcome that. It gets rid of anything, anything that's trying to cause you difficulty or harm. Bindweed on it. It's a survivor. It's a complete survivor plant, and I think that's very in key with 2016. The needing to overcome, go between honour the mysteries of death and life and rebirth, as well as hanging on and surviving. And then the crystal of the year has got to be Aura Quartz. Now, I already have a whole video on Aura Quartz, a fairly recent video all about it, so you can go see that. I'm going to show a couple of Aura Quartz. I love these spheres. This is a Druzy Aura sphere. I love them. I have 3 different kinds. I love the sphere versions, they're lovely. And then I have a couple of other little bits from this year. That was this year, that was this year. Yeah, these 2. So, plenty of shimmy shimmy for us shimmy witches. It's again a stone of alchemy because it is actually helped to be created in a lab by a process of infusing gold onto quartz. Alchemized from gold and indium. Tanzine Aura Quartz, which is the blue one, brings multi-dimensional balance and profound spiritual interconnection. Tuned to the transmutational violet flame, it opens and aligns the soul star and the higher crown chakras and draws cosmic energy. Provides deep spiritual comfort, dissolving emotional blockages, replacing these with unconditional love and the sense of being a part of a greater soul group, and so on and so forth. It represents alchemy. It's one of the only non-natural stones that is found in the Book of Stones because it is sort of created from natural ingredients, if you like, and it does have such an incredibly strong, potent energy to it. And this kind of personal alchemy that it brings to the table, which I discussed in the Working Witch video all about Aura Quartz, has been kind of key, I think, to understanding where 2016 kind of comes in, because personal alchemy and transformation often follows in the wake of darkness. I don't like using darkness in that term. Destruction and death. It's not easy, and if this year has kind of burnt everything down in order that we might phoenix-like rise next year, if you like. I mean, I say next year hesitantly because obviously we kind of into the witch's year at Samhain, and going through those difficulties is a process of alchemy, which is difficult and hard, and it's not easy, and I think a lot of people kind of want it to be easy, but it's not. So there we go, the camera has wiggled itself over since I hit it, sorry. So definitely Aura Quartz for the crystal of the year. Okay, where are you? I know I brought you Magical Discovery, if you like, of the year. Now, working with Bindweed brought Magical Discovery. I connected to the Deva of the plant, which was wonderful. But the one that really blew me away, and I have a whole video on this as well, was the Constellation Sigils. So this is a Constellation Sigil. This is one for me, and it combines Virgo with a protective sigil. And I actually dreamt about the Constellation Sigils, and I basically crafted them. I went and looked everywhere else if they existed. I couldn't find them anywhere else, and it came to me in a dream. Now, me dreaming about things like that is fairly unusual. It tends to be more of a proactive thing, a meditational thing, a coming into the forefront of my mind through visualization thing. So full-on subconscious things coming to the fore and me dreaming about them. It's a tad unusual. It's happened a bit more since a certain dream box from Mora arrived, which is amazing, by the way. It's like helping me to like lucid dream a bit. So this was unusual, and it's been hugely, hugely helpful. I love sigils. I will even work with the Fuwa Nordic runes in sigil work, in magic work like this. I can't divine with runic symbols at all. I never have been able to. I stick to the Ogham for that, and I do use Ogham in sigil magic as well. But the constellation, the stars, the cosmic element, which has ran through this year, there has been a large cosmic element, I think, to this year. Things of the unknown, the unknowable has been at the forefront. You think about how much death there has been at the forefront of this year, which is the ultimate unknown. We have a faith system in place, we have a belief system in place, which varies depending on who we are. But it is ultimately something that is the greatest unknowable thing, and kind of the cosmic energy, that personal alchemy, is kind of the unknown coming to the fore, kind of the void, if you like. And then my favourite Ogham or tree has been blackthorn this year, so I have my blackthorn still down here, which I haven't put them away yet. So blackthorn or strafe, which kind of, I just threw leaves all over myself. 1 second. You weren't quite shut, bag, I see. Now you are covered in strafe blackthorn. You said you liked it, here you go. Right, okay, so a lot of people veer away from strafe and blackthorn because it is a tree Ogham herb of obstacles and overcoming obstacles and difficulties. It's a Morrigan Ogham tree. It's a very strong warrior. It has a barrier energy to it. It won't let you pass if you are undeserving. It kind of protects and has very strong protective energy to it. But for me, I'm always drawn to the thorns and the vines and it just hit me that it kind of ties into a lesson that I've learned this year. I'm guessing I'm going to have to say that now because that came to the forefront of my mind. It kind of makes me think of the Penny Dreadful quote about those who love the broken things, that I tend to be drawn to that which a lot of people shun and treat as freaks or weird or unlikable, and I kind of tend to go looking for those people and try and say, you know, celebrate your weirdness, which has been all over the Starry-Eyed Facebook page this month. It's all been about rock your weird, and the latest blog post has been about it. So for me, like, bindweed and blackthorn is very much in that vein, that a lot of people are like, it's a bit uncomfortable, it's a bit unpleasant, it's a bit forcing you to look at your shadow side. And to me that just falls under the sort of branch of Morriganic practice, that life ain't roses and sunshine all the time. You have to face the darker sides of things, you have to face the difficulties, you have to face the death. It's just a part of life, and it doesn't have to be negative. It is just part of everything, part of the cycles, and everybody and everything deserves a sense of to be loved. And just because you are not the most popular person, just because you are not sunshine and rainbows all the time, just because you are difficult, just because you are unusual, just because you are creative, off the chart, off the walls in a different kind of way. We're not talking evil individuals here, obviously, like people who engage in evil acts is something else. But those who kind of get made fun of or criticised or judged just for being different, you know, and who are true to that. I think the being true to being unique is something that I'm drawn to, like moth to a flame style, you know, that uniqueness and that truth of it. And that kind of ties into the lesson, I think, the big witchy lesson of 2016 for me, which I've mentioned in other videos where I've chatted on a bit, which is to not let others define you. Again, I have a whole video about that. I think it was a Healing Witch, pretty sure it was a Healing Witch video where we talked about my drum, we talked about not letting other people define who you are. 2016 has been a very hostile year for individuals trying to enforce their will, their opinion, their belief on other people, and I fully support rejecting that completely. Nobody has the right to tell anybody who they should be and who they are, and how they should speak and how they should act. It's a personal freedom, and again, there's a whole video all about that, so there we go. So then I've got Oracle deck here, and I've decided to go with an Oracle deck which is a purchasable by everybody Oracle deck, because obviously I had a beautiful deck made especially for me, but I decided to go with a Oracle deck that, well, this is for divinational tools, and I decided to go with an Oracle deck because I've not had any new one this year. So I decided to go for the one that's available to everybody, and that is the Animal Spirit from the Wild Unknown. Now, the Wild Unknown is my all-time favourite tarot deck. It has been, I've had it for 3 years, I think it is, and I just love it. I just adore it. I can't get over it, and I don't want to. So when they came up with an Animal Spirit Oracle deck, I was over the moon. I was over the moon, because I don't like humanoids in my divinational cards. As I have said on 100 million occasions, and I will continue to say, there are some individual cards which can be made exception for, but generally speaking I don't care for them. And so a complete animal deck was just let me find my favourites in here. They've been spot on as well. Like I pulled a card from here which was a stingray, and I had been seeing stingrays all day that day. Interestingly, I've not pulled the lion yet, or the starfish in my oracle workings. I've had the wolf a few times, which should surprise nobody. I wish they'd gone for a howling wolf. Right, so I love the crow. It's gorgeous, look at that. Black egg, it's gorgeous. Oh, snake is gorgeous. I love the flower of life in the snake card. So accurate, so connective, so life-altering, and the more you sit and just, you know, connect to these cards, the more the truth they have for you. Owl is absolutely gorgeous. Barn owls are my favourite. So there's Stingray. Stingray had some interesting messages for me last week. I think it was last week or the week before. It's crazy. There you go. Moth this year has been really strong again. Molly sent me a moth. The connection with Babe has continued to increase, so. Oh, the hummingbird is beautiful. Look at the use of colour in hummingbird. Beautiful. Novox. Eagle is pretty gorgeous as well. Right, so, and just to sort of go on from that, sort of the cosmic work, the totem work if you like, that has come about from working with the oracle cards, but I've put it as a separate category, has been Cosmic Egg. There's been a lot of Cosmic Egg work this year, and a lot of connection to that imagery, that feel, that alchemy of the year, and that has really kind of enriched my life no end. So yeah, so that is just a few different ideas, feelings, things that have kind of brought some positivity in, brought some joy in, people as well, of course, in 2016, and I really wanted to just make a sort of kind of positive, upbeat video about that and just kind of thumbs up, I guess, apparently, that element of 2016. So that's it for this video, and many blessings.